What is the latest on the Raiders coaching search?
Well, you and Jeremy Fowler said that they're supposed to meet at some point this weekend with Clint Kubiak, the Seahawks offensive coordinator. And that would explain why we have a little bit of a hang-up on these last two openings in Vegas and Arizona. Because it certainly seems like, from what you both say, that the Raiders and Cardinals both want to meet and speak with Clint Kubiak before they make a final decision about who their head coach will be.
Okay, Joe Brady today is going to be introduced as the Bills head coach. You just tweeted it out. He's in shorts up there in Buffalo. Joe Brady, head coach, what are your thoughts?
Listen, this is somebody that they wanted, somebody that is connected to Josh Allen. There's continuity here. He had interviewed with the Las Vegas Raiders. He was in line for any number of offensive coordinator jobs. And the Bills didn't even make it really to a second round of interviews. Before they got there, they got to Joe Brady. They identified him as the guy and gave him a 5-year deal.
Lastly, Brian Daboll chose the Tennessee Titans to be their new offensive coordinator. He had other options. Where does that leave, though, the Philadelphia Eagles, who interviewed Daboll?
I know there's panic in the streets of Philadelphia over who the Eagles will choose as the offensive coordinator. And I'm here to say, calm down. They have interviewed 8 different offensive coordinator candidates. They will wind up hiring somebody that they believe has a great NFL future. Somebody that I'm watching right now would be Sean Mannion, the Green Bay Packers quarterbacks coach, who interviewed for a second time with the Philadelphia Eagles yesterday. If you talk to people around the league who have been around Sean Mannion, they speak very highly of him. Wouldn't surprise me if he wound up being the guy in Philadelphia, and it wouldn't surprise me if a few years down the line, Sean Mannion turned out to be a prime head coaching candidate.
All right. Well, Adam doesn't just talk and say things. Sean Mannion's a name to watch, obviously. The last 2 weeks, though, there's been a little bit of hysteria in the streets in Philly about why is no one wanting to line up and be our offensive coordinator. The offensive coordinator job in Philadelphia, do you view that, Dan, as a desirable one?
Of course. Of course.
You want it?
Take it, Dan.
I watched Sean Mannion play.
I was a teammate of Sean Mannion.
I was going to say,
Sean Mannion, very smart. Reminded me a lot of Kellen Moore. This is what I would say about the Philly OC job. It's a needle in a haystack type of thing, okay? Number one, you got to hire somebody that you think is going to be good at the job, right? That's capable of doing that job. Number two, I don't necessarily want someone that's their first time doing it. Sean Mannion, who would be first time calling plays. I don't feel great about that coming off of the offensive season that they just had. Number three, you better be mentally tough. That is a tough market. You better be mentally tough. You better know what you're walking yourself and your family into. That's just the truth. Okay, that's just the truth. The fourth thing is, I don't want somebody that's gonna leave in a year if I'm Philly. I don't want someone that thinks, okay, I'm going to go there for the year and then I'm going to propel myself to another bigger job, because that's been the routine. And I think that's got to give Philly just a little bit of caution. So, like, this is the perfect storm that you're trying to weather right now if you're Philly.
You're worried about this year. And the good thing is, though, the price of eggs has gone up. So it's going to be very expensive if anybody wants to egg
a real thing,
the house
man.
of the future offensive
That's a real
coordinator.
deal. You know, Adam jokes about it. Guys will go to you like, Kevin Patullo's house or whatever it was, there was a talk of that it got egged, and that might not be something that every offensive coordinator or every offensive coordinator's wife wants to deal with when you go into a market. What do you guys think? Philly as a job, as an offensive coordinator position with all the things that go with it?
I have a question for Schefter. Out of those 8 interviews or those 8 candidates that they interviewed, how many of them took other jobs? Do you know that?
Mike McDaniel, I don't know if he ever interviewed or pulled out. Brian Daboll to the Tennessee Titans. So that's 2 right there. By the way, Mike McDaniel, where's his wife from? Southern California. Where did she want to go? Southern California. Philadelphia could not compete with that. Brian Daboll, close friend of Robert Saleh, wanted to work with Cam Ward last year. A lot of appealing elements to Tennessee. So I don't view it as these people turning down Philadelphia so much as it is being drawn to opportunities that anybody in any line of work would gravitate to.
No, I understand that. I just feel like there's been like 7 OCs or 7 play callers go elsewhere, go off the board, to where it's like my brain is like, why would a play caller not want to go to Philly with the roster that they have, the talent level on offense? You know, you have Jalen Hurts as a quarterback. They just came off of winning the Super Bowl last season. why would any play caller not want to flock to Philadelphia?
Yeah, and to Dan's point about not wanting a first-time play caller, like that's probably the easiest drop-off is the easiest thing to do to have a first-time play caller with that roster that you have. All you have to do is be somewhat creative. And Dan, I know we joked about it, but you get them boys under center, huh? You run a little extra tackle. You can get a lot of things done, especially with that offensive line. You can get it done. Now, when it comes to they're egging my house, it's like, listen, I feel bad for the man and his family, but football is not for the faint of heart. Philadelphia Eagles, they've always been psychopath fan bases, but it's like, you got to answer the bell. And I mean psychopath is like a compliment. Like, you want all your fan bases like that. Yeah. So it's like if that's too much for you, then you shouldn't even be in contention.
You got to know.
Anyway.
You got to know what you're signing up to. Signing up
Gotta
to.
know. You got to know, no doubt. But it's like
coaches are worried about the mental fortitude it takes to live in Philly as much as it is. We know the fraternity of coaches that everybody talks to each other.
Yeah.
No matter what, about jobs, about everything. And everything that we've heard internally about Philly throughout the year leads me to believe that coaches are sitting there talking to where some guys might be like, hey, I'm going to go take this other opportunity instead of going to Philly.
Exactly.
Sean Mannion, Bill Belichick. The entire NFL has now chimed in, and we start with Tom Brady, who questioned his former head coach Bill Belichick's snub from the Hall. Belichick fell short of the required 40 of 50 votes needed for first ballot induction into the Hall of Fame. Here's what Brady had to say on the decision yesterday. Quote, I don't understand it. I mean, I was with him every day. If he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, let's just let Brady do it himself.
We're not.
Or not.
I don't understand it. I mean, I was with him every day. If he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, there's really no coach that should ever be a first ballot Hall of Famer, which is completely ridiculous because people deserve it. And he's incredible. There's no coach I'd ever want to play for. I'd rather play for. If I'm picking one coach to go out there to win a Super Bowl, give me one season, I'm taking Bill Belichick. So that's enough said.
Thank you to Brock and Salk for that sound there. Brock Heward, of course, up there in Seattle. On Bill Belichick's Hall of Fame stub, Robert Kraft curiously chimed in as well. Whatever perceptions may exist about any personal differences between Bill and me, I strongly believe Bill Belichick's record and body of work speak for themselves. He is the greatest coach of all time. He is unequivocally deserves to be a unanimous first ballot Hall of Famer. And then there's the sound from Jimmy. Jimmy Johnson was very vocal on Twitter. Pat McAfee had him on his show yesterday. Take a listen.
Every voter is going to say, I voted for him, which is bullshit. A bunch of them are lying. No one knows the history of the NFL more than Bill Belichick. And it just pissed me off that it wasn't a slam dunk, him going into the Hall of Fame. And, I thought it was going to be an automatic. So I chartered a jet. I was going to go up there. To hell with it. I'm not going this year.
Jimmy! Yep. This can't be what this becomes.
Speaking of private jet talk,
Jimmy Johnson had a great 24 hours.
Oh,
yeah,
my gosh.
that's what happens when you speak your mind.
Yes, Adam, we start with you. It's been 24 hours plus. Everyone's chimed in. What are the ripple effects from this news that Belichick somehow, some way is not a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Well, where do you start with it? I think yesterday the Hall of Fame came out with a statement that said it's going to review this incident and take action against voters if they feel like laws and bylaws were violated. Now, what are they referring to? This may not be that the Hall of Fame is upset that Bill Belichick, the greatest coach of all time, not only didn't get in, wasn't unanimous, not a first ballot Hall of Famer. It's that the confidentiality laws that surround the Hall of Fame have been breached. Nobody is supposed to know this. And yet it got out. Seth Wickersham reporting that Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, which has created a firestorm of controversy, and rightfully so. So the Hall of Fame now is going to, or at least it says it's going to, review the procedures and take any action that is necessary. Then there's all the additional fallout that comes along.
Before you get to that, so everyone who went out and then raised their hands online said, I voted for him, I voted for him, I voted for him. That's against what the Hall of Fame speaks to,
No,
right?
I think
Or is it more the leaking to Van Natta and Seth?
It's more about what went on in that room, allegedly, that people said that there were voters who felt like this was penance for Bill Belichick, for Spygate and Deflategate. And maybe that was or wasn't true. But the fact of the matter is, to me, from the surface, and I'm open to having any voter tell me anything otherwise, I believe this was as much about personal feelings as it was Spygate and Deflategate. Bill Belichick was not always warm and fuzzy with the media, So here's a time that each media person on that panel gets to wield some power.
They get to stick it to him.
So some people felt like, you know what? He was not really nice to us. We're not going to be nice to him. And so they rejected. I believe that played a big part of it. As much as Spygate or Deflategate in a league where coaches and executives are always pushing rules and boundaries, including Bill Polian himself. Okay, so let's not say it's about that the greatest coach of all time is denied entry into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And the part that I also really don't like about it is that now Bill Belichick gets backed up another year.
Explain that.
So he comes up next year, and everybody knows that Bill Belichick is going to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And he will, and he should. The problem is, now that means that somebody else that's been waiting, like Tom Coughlin or Mike Holmgren or Mike Shanahan, as they've been waiting, they have to wait another year.
Why?
There's only one coach per year.
One coach per year.
That's the rules. So he's right. So Shanahan, Holmgren was brought up. He has to wait, and it's because of a silly decision not to put him in.
So somebody else just got pushed back another year, which is another reason that this is utterly ridiculous that he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Now we're going to make other people wait too. Now we're going to make this personal. Now it's going to be about self-important voters who take it upon themselves to hold their grudge to keep this guy out, which is absurd and impacts the lives of other people that pushes them down the line.
But I asked you this yesterday, so I'm going to ask you it again because it